Hello to all my wonderful 7th graders. The purpose of this video is for you to be able to use the distributive property to expand and simplify a linear expression with integers. If you remember from our activity in class, we used the area model to visualize the distributive property and what is happening. So in class, when we had two groups of x minus 3, we showed that using the area model. Here's our positive 2 times x minus 3. So that means two groups of x minus 3. So here's our first group of x minus 3, and here's our second group of x minus 3. Remember, we can rewrite this expression as x plus a negative 3, and those would be the same thing. So if we were to write this expression in standard form or simplified form, we'd end up with 2x minus 6. But you're not going to want to always draw a visual for each one of these problems. So instead, today's lesson is going to show you how to use the distributive property to simplify these expressions. Here's an example when you probably would not use the distributive property, because in order of operations, you would do grouping symbols first, and 1 plus 3 is 4. Then we would do multiplication, because when a number is right next to parentheses, it means to multiply. 6 times 4 is 24. We could use the distributive property to find the answer to this problem, though. The distributive property means I would distribute the 6 times every single term inside the parentheses. Think of distribute as to hand out. And remember to be fair when handing it out. In order to be fair, I need to distribute the 6 to the 1 and the 6 to the 3. So 6 times 1 plus 6 times 3 would be 6 plus 18. This is also 24. Notice we got the same answer for both of those. So in that last example, you had the choice whether you wanted to use order of operations or distributive property to solve that problem. But when should you use the distributive property? Here's an example of that. Can you imagine drawing an area model with 7 groups of x minus 8? That would take a really long time. So you're going to want to use the distributive property to simplify this expression. Another reason we need to use the distributive property, we can't use order of operations because we have a variable x here. We don't know what x is, so we can't solve the grouping symbols x minus 8 not knowing what x is. So instead, we want to use the distributive property. Remember, when using the distributive property, we want to be fair. So we want to hand out the 7 to the x and the 7 to the 8. And remember, when 7 is right next to parentheses, that means to multiply. So using the distributive property, we would do 7 times x. There's a subtraction sign next, so I'm going to remove my subtraction sign there. And 7 times 8. And this expression in standard form, or simplified form, would be 7x minus 56. Okay, now let's try some of these expressions using the distributive property. So remember, with the distributive property, we have to hand out the 3 to every term. So 3 times x plus 3 times 1. So there's where we show our work, and in standard form or simplified form, it would be 3x plus 3. Let's try the next one. 3 times x again. But this time we have a subtraction sign. And then 3 times 3. So in standard form or simplified form, that would be 3x minus 9. Negative 2 times x plus negative 2 times 4. So in standard form or simplified form, that would be negative 2x, and then you can either write plus a negative 8 Or remember, adding a negative 8 is the same thing as subtracting 8. And then finally our last one, negative 2 times x minus negative 2 times 4. I see a double negative here, so I want to change that double negative to addition. So this expression in standard form or simplified form would really be negative 2x plus 8. Easy breezy, right? Okay, go ahead and pause the video and try the next 4 examples on your own. Let's see how you did. For the first one, you should have got 6x plus 48. For the second one, 5x minus 35. For the third one, negative 4x plus a negative 12. Or if you truly want to simplify that, remember adding a negative 12 is the same thing as subtracting 12. So negative 4x minus 12. And then finally the last one, negative 3x plus 36. How'd you do? Hopefully you are saying, yes, I really get this. If not, please come to class tomorrow with questions. See you later.